So what an interesting week. I'm at a hospital, feeling a lot better, but I think it's time for me to think about moving, maybe moving west, and pursuing some of this electronic stuff that I really love to do. Um, you know, when those of us who work with technology and work in technology, technology defines what we do as a profession. It's very empowering in some ways to be able to think of things that you want people to be able to experience with technology. It's not always been easy to get that into a form that they can use and hold like a phone. Whoops, phone right here. It's actually, this isn't a phone. I got something right here I want to show you, but I'm going to make sure that's got the door open here just to kind of cool the car down. So the car is an issue. You know, I've had to. This is a '94 Camry. Got it from the family. Just had to get some things done to it to kind of push the timetable back on some things that I had to do with the car. Now, I'm going to mention, old cars are very good value if you can keep running them. Look at old cars over new cars sometimes. But when a new car makes sense, that's obviously the route you take. But this is a very beautiful vehicle. My aunt had driven this all over the place. Just wouldn't take it at very high RPMs in places. So these are very it's hard-earned miles in a way. This is over 150,000. There's 152,000 miles on this car. I've had it for about a month and a half, I think she said. I just spoke with her earlier, and had to replace the battery. It's obvious you want a good fresh battery. With a die-hard battery in here, like my dad always got. He told me, don't mess around with the battery, because if you can't start the car, it's not very much of a car, is it? So I had to replace the battery terminals, actually. And I'll tell you this. If you test the alternator, I wonder if in advance they check that out. What they do is they don't test the alternator so much as they clamp something to the battery and tell you to rev the engine and see what happens. Well, the battery terminals were not the best. And I was getting some issues starting the car, and I want to make sure, well, again, if you cannot start a car and even get it in a drivable state, then that is a problem. Very low-cost solution that saved me a lot of headache by going to a local repair shop right on Bella Road here. They took care of that. This thing's been starting beautifully ever since. Serpentine belt actually broke in this when I was on a ride up to look for employment, actually. I wanted to meet my friend Andy, who was in the district up there. And want to see what, because you got to make connections to be able to do things. It's not always a put a resume in and do things type thing. Networking is critical. Talking with people, getting out, doing things. Now, in my case, that's more critical than ever. I've got to get exercise, and right now, if you got a car that looks like I'm going to be walking right down there, that's a lot. It's a long walk, but maybe I need a bicycle. Maybe I can find one around somewhere. So technology has gotten to the point that, you can buy expensive stuff, or you can buy, I won't say cheap, inexpensive stuff. They're building blocks that you can do and use as a technologist, as a programmer. I don't care who you are. You could be starting out and stuff and really find this as a cool thing to get into. I showed you that little computer like a while ago, the one I did like that. I've had some time to work with that. I'm happy with what I've come up with so far. And this, again, I didn't make this. I make the hardware. I don't know how to do that, but I know some really good Lego when I see them. And, building blocks are more important. Everything's a building block, right? So what I've got here is, this is a Raspberry Pi. Not an actual pie like you would eat. That'd probably be very good right now, but with sugar and all that, I don't know about that. But I'm going to show you this. I'm going to unplug this. I don't know what this looks intimidating, but there's no top on this. But I'm going to show you actually the sides of this. You remember this? This is the Raspberry Pi. There's the sides, and you see you can power this. You can hook this up to your television if you want. You can even put headphones or a microphone in that if you want. I think it takes a micro SD card, just like your phone would take. This is where the operating system is. If you want to change your operating system, and it's got a lot of other stuff you would expect. Maybe not on something you would hold with you. Maybe something you would put. This is more geared toward a home environment or an office or whatever. You could put this somewhere, plug it into a network. That's what this is. This will get you your network. And 4 USB. That's exceptionally good expansion for something of this class. And what I've added, there's a screen that I found that I'm very, the screen before, you might have seen me with the thing like that, but this is actually a capacitive touchscreen that's 320 by 240, 2.8 inch TFT, capacitive touch, very nice, very smooth screen. See that? Now, there's nothing on it, obviously. I'm not hooked to power up. This is a building block thing. So, I've got one of these USB power banks here. And this, that's one of these things. If you don't have one of these in your car, I'm going to tell you, you can plug your phone into these things and charge them back up. It's like having a jump starter for your car, but for your phone or whatever uses a USB port, 5 volts, 0.8 amps now. You're going to find that there's some of these that are very cheap, some that are very expensive, like the Mophie stuff that my aunt actually in California likes. But yeah, basically this is a big battery. You recharge this with this thing. You then take the same cable like this and charge whatever you want, right? In this case, I'm not charging that. I'm actually going to be powering this with this. It's not the best power to be able to do that with something of this, but let's see. All right, you've seen this cable. Let's do that. There's the kind of the USB thing. They say you get it 1, 2, 3 times. It usually fits. Let's try that. This is this end. This is, if you use phones of a certain manufacturer, you might see this. A lot of stuff uses this that is not the Apple gear, but the other stuff. But this is the standard form factor that I have to work with right now, and this goes right into the power port, like you'll see here. And I'm going to kind of set this up for you. I've been working on a new user interface that I think is hard to explain at this point. I want to make it easy for you to do things with stuff like this. I think I know how to do that in a way that's not intimidating and will make you very productive very quickly with very good quality. Being able to maintain a program is just as important as being able to write one. I know that over the years. If I know anything, gosh, I know that. And, well, anyway, what you're going to see here is just a basic, very simple user interface. It will start up. It takes a while for the system to start. Now, this is not an optimized system just yet, but I hope to have this to be a very small, very fast operating system to deploy new ideas on, at least for me. I want to do things like calorie tracking. There's a place probably I could put a gyro in here for step tracking, and I don't even know if I can interface it with the stuff I already have, but what I can do is, you don't know until you try, and that's what I'm going to do with this. Got my computer here, got this here. At this point, I have to think outside the box, and maybe walking is actually a good idea to kind of, they call it dog fooding, right? You build something that, I wouldn't need them. I'll take these off in a minute. You can see this, but I'll pull 2 little status lights here to tell you what the thing's doing too. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to plug this in. What you're going to see is very simple. You're going to see a time that's out of synchronization because I have to figure out how to get the Wi-Fi to synchronize again with what I've got here. Ideally, I'd like to get that on the device itself to be able to do that, but you have to start from a blank slate. And what I have here is, you're going to see the time in the upper right-hand corner with the date in a very non-threatening manner, like some operating systems like to throw all this stuff at you. No, this is very simple. This is very low-key. This is very friendly in a way that maybe you've used in computers in days gone by that maybe now, with the overwhelming complexity of some of these systems, you don't see much anymore. I want to bring back what I love from the past. When my dad and my mom would get me into this stuff and maybe bring it into this kind of form factor and see what I can do with it. And if it can benefit you, I'm very happy with that. So let's see, the light's going to be an issue here because this screen is not the most vibrant screen. We're actually doing this in a lighted environment here. Might be able to, let's see, there's no power going to yet, but I want to show you that, okay, it's going to work, maybe, let's see. If not, I'll pull this off here, maybe we can arrange it, but you're going to see the time up there. Obviously, time is important. In whatever you're doing with something, you should be able to see the time and the day or the date. Everything is time. Some would say everything's money, but I'm slowly learning that maybe. But everything's a few things that we'll talk about. So here's our battery. Here's our thing. Let's plug it in. You're going to see that. You're going to see just a little thing at the top, like a little heading that says, it says welcome. Because I'm trying to think, how do you make it friendly starting up? I'm sure these are things that people have thought about for years when they design stuff like this. And let's see what happens. You remember the Atari system, the video game my dad and mom got me into? You had, it flashed colors, it flashed colors, it showed you the gameplay screen, and it did the color thing to show you that the game's ready. So, what I'm going to do is it's just going to flash some colors, because that's a very simple tech demo. I wanted to see what kind of colors I could get out of the screen. It's just going to start blinking colors. Or anyway, let's see what we got here. All right, we got just a white screen. Oh, geez. I don't know. Here we go. I think that's where you can see it, actually. It's going to go to black here for about 3 or 4 seconds while the system actually starts the UI process. Now, it's not responsive to touch yet. I figured out how the touch sensor works. It does work in X Windows, but I don't know how to interface yet. I know how the protocol works. I've already reverse engineered that to some degree. Is that no? The kernel will be starting right about now. It's going to go to black, maybe? Hopefully. If not, I'm going to have to unplug this and try it again. Yep, there it goes. See? What do we have? Do this so you can actually see it. 3. Here we go. Oh, there we go. Oh, you've got the lead. Oh, all right, you know what? I'm going to try and see this. Oh, come on. Oh. This is not the easiest thing to show here, but there you go. Welcome. It shows probably a date that's... Try focus on this. That's right. Let's see. This is the front-facing camera, the FaceTime HD. What is that? Let's see. Oh. Anyway, there you go. It just flashes colors. That's all it does right now. But again, this is a computer in this form factor that I've now got a user interface running on, a battery, a portable computer. I've actually done a runtime test on this, and another battery I got in the house that I got from Walmart. It's a very nice battery, and it's this is Thursday, 1:17 a.m., 1:18 now. I mean, let's see here. Nice. Okay. Anyway, geez, it's a very reflective screen. I'm sure they got anti-glare coatings. There's a lot of stuff you learn working with a form factor like this that you wouldn't learn, you know, with sitting at a desk with a computer. I think that's why these things exist, these phones and things. Everything's a cumulative thing in life, and you know, oh, there we go. Oh yeah. So I want to get you a better look at this. I'll post some pictures later. I think you're just going to love what I'm going to do with this. I've actually got a very nice game running with this. Not right now, but because it does use kind of the same connectors. This is a modular system. You didn't know that. The screen is actually can come off of this. I want to show you this is still running. Do this. There are different pins, like expansion ports, that you could hook things to. And I've made a game that some of you might have played. I've actually showed them out at unallocated space out near the airport. Kind of hackerspace I got set up out there. I think I had a lot of fun with it. It's not even complete. It doesn't even keep score properly yet. It's going to keep some fabulous scores, I'm sure, for a lot of players in a good setting. Maybe get people happy about having fun with these things, you know. So this is actually I can't take this off of that. All right, but you know, there's usually a graceful shutdown sequence for these. For right now, I've got a backup of this card, so I'm just gonna right now. Now that's something important. If you have a computer, you remember you always have to run it through a shutdown sequence rather than before you pull the power on it, because computers of days past, it was very you turn it off, turn it on, that's fine. But the new stuff, it's not designed to the way that perhaps is optimum like that. People expect computers to do stuff like that, you know. You expect to be able to take it off and put it on the mains like that and have it working properly with no problems. I think there are benefits to how computers worked earlier, and I'd love to be able to bring those into form factors like this and others. So, well, now I've taken this off, let me show you. I'm going to actually disassemble this for you. This is this side with the HDMI port, power, and that. There you go. You see right through it. Hello. But this will actually, this is the actual official Raspberry Pi case that they make at that place. This comes up, I guess. There you go. There's all this. This is the screen right here. And this is, you have to be very careful with this. This is, there you go. Look at that, see? It's a modular system that they make. And this is, just look into this. I mean, if you're into this kind of thing, this is the computer itself. There's the card right there. And, there, see? They've just came out with a new one of these, and I'm sad to see that, you know, the race to the top in technology has made it such that it's very difficult for people to optimize for a platform when all the specs go. I hope we can come up with a standard or something that keeps this stuff relevant in a low power setting that got me the excellent battery life I saw out of this in a battery pack I had about a week or two ago. So I've not been slouching here. I've got a great little demonstration I want to show you on this in a little bit. And I think you're just going to be very pleased with what I and hopefully others are able to bring to this platform in the future. Talk to you soon.